This is homework help for homework 5, week of February 5th. Number 1, use order of operations to simplify the expressions. So order of operations is PEMDAS, parentheses, exponents, multiplication and division, and then addition and subtraction. So in part A, we're looking for parentheses. We see some right here, and we're looking for exponents right here. What I think about is wherever I see a plus or minus, that addition or subtraction, I want to leave that to the end. So I think of, these are different terms. So I'm going to evaluate the plus and the minus at the very end, kind of considering there to be space in between each part, each term. Those are each a separate problem. So right now, my first problem is 9 squared is 81. That means 9 times 9 is 81. My second problem to evaluate would be the next term, and that would be 17 times 2 is 34. And my next term to evaluate is minus 5 times 6 over 2. Well, we see some parentheses there, and we also see some division that we can do first. 6 over 2 is 3. So this is really 5 times 3. 5 times 3 is 15, so this entire term becomes 15. Once you have it written like this, you can just put it in your calculator. 81 plus 34 minus 15, and I got 85. So keep in mind, you don't always see parentheses. There are a couple situations that are special, so I want to let you know. Letter F, we don't see parentheses, but we should think about doing the 5 minus 15 first before we can divide by 2. Those are called unwritten parentheses, or that's a grouping right there. Let's move on to number 2. Describe the pattern you see, complete the table, and then fill in the sentence. As the x values increase by blank, the y value does what? And so in the first one, you're going to notice, I hope, that we're going 2, 4, 8, 16. So instead of adding anything, we're actually multiplying by 2, and this is exponential. So times 2 times 2 times 2. So as x goes up by 1 or increases by 1, then the y value increases by a factor of 2. So you can continue that table. You might also notice that to go backwards up the table, you're going to have to divide by 2. That's where you get some situations like this in the next table, because you can see we're multiplying by 3 as we're going up, but we will be dividing by 3 as we're going back down the table, and that's where we get 1/3. How would you get from 1/3 and divide by 3 to get something even smaller? That is going to go into the denominator. So 1/3 divided by 3 is the same as multiplying by 1/3. And so when you do that, multiply across and you get 1/9. Let's move on to the back side. Expand and collapse the following expressions to write them in simplest form. What this is talking about is simply to write out, for example, in part A, how many x's do you really have? If you have x squared, you have x times x. And if you have x to the 5th, you have 5 more. That's expanded. So now I can look at it to see how many x's are there, and there are 7. So it's really x to the 7th. And from there, you can notice some patterns. In the last problem, number 4, we have doubling going on. So from 2, it's going to be going up to 4 and 8 and 16 and so on. You're looking for where does that number of zombies become 64 and then 500.